Hello again, this is John coming at you from Co-Wheeler Motors, and right before we get this guy muddy over here, this is our 2020 Escape R. I'm going to show you guys what we did to this bike just to set it up for Hawaii trail riding. Now this is only options. These are things that I just do just to set the bike up the way I like, trying new things, and a couple of things that I've done before. So right off the bat, you see I went with the knobby tire in the front. I put the Kenda Ibex 21-inch on the front. It's a nice 8100 by 21, and it's actually a nice soft compound, so this is great. Kind of matches the Trials front compound and can actually get sticky and get some good grip going on here. All right, moving on the forks. Of course, I gotta keep my seals nice and clean, so I got the trick bits carbon look protection on that. Super affordable, really easy to put on. It's just a couple zip ties, and just having this piece right here will actually save you a lot of headache when you go down, when you want to go through some rocks, and you won't have to repair these forks, you won't have to repair the seals, you won't have to worry about changing this out or leaking. Let's go for that. So on top here I got the Cycra bar buster holders. I also have it paired up with some Zeta hand guards just to protect me. If the bar looks different to you, this is a Pro Taper bar. Now this is just a regular MXCR high bend. I wanted to try something a little different. Normal Trials bars stick out pretty straight, but I wanted to get more of an Enduro feel, so these bars are swept back just a little bit. No particular reason why I chose this CR bend, but it felt comfortable to me. S3 levers with the adjustments. This makes everything a lot easier to keep easy to be adjusted if there's any play, and you can adjust it on the fly. S3 lever for my clutch. I also put on a PRB lever. So most of the guys have the PRBR on the top, and I kind of didn't care for it because when I was going downhill I have to put my finger off the handle and actually go up here. I know if you're doing trial stuff, you're not maybe using it as much and it's a little more comfortable, but with the PRBR lever, it's just the one you get on the regular Escape. It actually fits right underneath the clutch perch, so I can actually have a regular lever for my regen, which makes it handy if I'm going down hills. It makes it handy if I'm going up hills and I need a brake, or if I need a little bit of extra grip on this. It's a little bit easier to handle than going up here, so that's just my personal preference. For the bar stops, I actually took the bar stops from the older 2022 bikes, which were a little bit larger, and I put them on so that the bike turning radius decreases just a little bit. Now some of the Trials guys will be asking themselves, like, why would I want to decrease turning radius? But simply because when you're riding Enduro, you don't need it to turn that much, and sometimes it gets you in trouble if you're going over some rocks at speed and the bar turns too fast and then you go over the bar. So that's just a little decrease, and it has way more padding than the current 2023 one, so I kind of like that, just a little bit more cushion, so to save my fork extensions. Of course, as you've seen before, the all new SXS skid plate. Now this plate is awesome. It does decrease your clearance by, like, I would say, a 1/4 inch. But you know what? If you do hit something, it won't get caught up on the aluminum, especially if you go over the rocks. It will just skid right over. So even if you lose a 1/4 inch, you can comfortably go over stuff and kind of like bash over stuff without worrying about your aluminum, without worrying about the impact affecting your motor. Now, like I mentioned before, these skid plates take up this big gap right here on both sides of the skid plate, the original OEM plate. And what that allows it to do is actually protect your frame. So it protects this part here, which is awesome. Also, it stops like roots and nubs from getting locked in this portion. So it just basically takes out another place for it to get stuck. Now moving over here, we got these titanium Enduro pegs. Now these pegs are made for a regular gas bike, and they just fit in the EM frame. You won't have an adjustment to go higher or lower, but these pegs are actually set back a little bit further, which At first I was kind of on the fence about, because I mean, trials bikes typically are already set back already, and this is back even further. I want to say it's set back maybe like a 1/4 of an inch more than, let's say, the S3 Hard Rocks or even your stock pigs. So we'll try this out. I like the grip. If I don't like it on the trials bike, I'll definitely put it on my Rieju, and I think that will actually make the Rieju feel really good. Just having a little bit further back peg, make it a lot more controllable, kind of like a trials bike. Okay, so since we're balling, oh, and one more thing, the SXX plate also comes with a linkage guard, so you can actually protect your linkage down here, especially when you're going over that stuff. So this is awesome as well, going over logs and whatnot, or pitchy rocks. And since, you know, Hawaii is expensive and we're balling on a budget, I got my old Trick Bits frame guards off of my 22, and I just slapped those on there. That's going to keep my nice new gunmetal painted frame nice and clean, so that, you know, when we are ready to sell this bike, or when we want to get a 2024, whoever buys it will have a nice undamaged, undinged frame. Going back here, of course, swing arm guards as well, for the same reason, just to keep the bike clean, just to protect the investment that we made. A couple bucks. This is only like 30 bucks, 30, 40 bucks, and they're easily replaceable, and, you know, they kind of make it look good as well. So win-win. And of course, we got our metal subframe here. Now, like I mentioned in a previous video, EM has actually upgraded their sub base for the 2022 and current models. So the subframe is a lot stiffer and probably can take a lot more heat, a lot more pounding, a lot more wear and tear. But always good to have the metal subframe. I believe this one's made out of steel. Oh, it is made out of steel. I believe they make them out of aluminum now as well. And that actually is good. It's just a little bit lighter, still gives you a decent amount of protection, but it's not gonna add the, I think it's like the 4 pounds that this metal one adds. But all in all, this bike is now ready for Hawaii trails, and stay tuned for the next videos of us riding it, taking out for its maiden voyage. It's not gonna go out in stock, it's gonna go out in style. Stay tuned, guys. Till the next time, aloha.